But first, I have to give you some very serious Hollywood direction. Are you ready for your very serious Hollywood direction that even the BBC doesn't teach you? They don't teach you how to use scissors. Yeah, it's part of Hollywood. Because some people will see a box and see scissors, and I swear to God, they do this. And I go, what are you doing? And they go, opening a box. And I go, you can't open a box like that. You want to hold the scissors like a box cutter. Yeah. And then you want to cut like that. And you want to cut from the back because later I do cataloging of all the items in the museum and I need to know the address and where it came from. So definitely don't, don't cut the address in half or something. And of course, when you're cutting these, you just want to cut it up in flat. And then speaking of the address, you don't want to say, oh, this came from Bob Smith of 1313 Mockingbird. Don't read the address out loud because obviously, the world should know. And also 1313 Mockingbird Lane is the address of the TV show. Originally in the 1960s. You want another hint?
Brady Bunch? No.
It's spooky.
Addams Family.
I thought it was the Addams Family. For a year, I told people.
Monsters?
Yes,
yeah.
You're good. For a year, I thought it was because it's an unboxing. It's not rocket science. You're just opening a box. Who cares? But so for a year, I said the Addams Family. Then I thought, am I giving people fake news? Maybe I should look it up. And I was like, yes, I am. It was the Munsters address. So what's the Addams Family address? It's actually 13 Adams Lane originally, and then Cemetery Lane for the later ones. But they were competition with each other. They came out around 1962 at the same time. So I don't know what they were taking in 1962, but they came out with two crazy shows. And anyway, okay, so and when I say I'm Denny Daniel, you could just say your first name. So I'm Denny Daniel of the museum, and I'm here with
Jonathan, Jacob,
Tracy,
and they came from England. Yay! Although Jacob is now in New York studying, I guess.
Yep.
What are you studying?
Physics. Really?
Wow! And apparently, because your dad and mom are smart. So somebody, where are you going to school?
CUNY.
CUNY. Cool. Wow. My sister went to CUNY.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
At the moment, I'm not affiliated to a specific place. Next year, I'll decide. Yeah. Okay,
because kind of like what I did with England, but I wasn't going to be matriculated into Corpus Christi. I ended up just going there for a summer session and staying at my college at NYU. Okay, so I'm going to do this like a 42nd Street shell game, which I'm born and raised in New York, and I remember 42nd Street shell games, where a guy showed up with 3 shells. He put a quarter under one of the shells, and then he mixed them up, and you had to guess which one had the quarter, and you would win something. The only difference here is I don't have 3 shells. There isn't a quarter under any of my shells, and here you win nothing. So ethically, it's exactly like a New York shell game, isn't it? But there is one similarity. I am going to mix up the packages. So here is me mixing up the packages. Are you guys confused?
I want the Royal Mail one.
Are you guys confused? Yes.
My eye is still on the one.
Okay, so each one of you get to pick a package. Go ahead, pick a package. You want the Royal Mail one. There you go. And then I will give you your scalpels. So there is yours. There is yours. And then Mom, there is yours.
You don't want me to go through the address.
But no, don't start yet, John. I think he's gonna
start. No, we got it. Yeah, it's going. It's going.
Not cutting scissors.
And that's a good one I gave you. That should have cut those.
Because I'm left-handed.
My mom's left-handed. I'm both.
Oh, look. We do 54.
Do you know that band?
Don't Let the Devil Ride. Terrific album.
Oh, you know it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it, but it's cool. Isn't that the coolest album? So we do a show now, usually on New Year's Day, called the Ridiculous Records Speakeasy, and that is going to be one of the stars of that show. It is such a ridiculous record. I love that cover.
Fantastic. Very, very.
So that is one of the rarest covers ever. Most people, when they sell this record, don't have the cover. So ironically, your son opened up, you work for BBC, and your son opened up a film. So what film did you open?
There's a lot of stuff I don't quite understand on there, but it said something about God Save the King at the bottom.
Oh, this is a bouncing ball sing-along, I believe, as I recall, and it's God ironically it came from,
the King.
Yeah, it came from England, and it's a MOVIETONE film, which was they did like these cool edits that you might see before a film in the movie theater, like 10 minutes before the film or something, they show, or half an hour
But
before.
everyone will take
They
off.
show
Yeah, but
these
this
things.
has the Scharnhorst being sunk, which is a German battleship, 1943. That's
Wow.
fantastic.
Wow,
Yes.
that's
yeah, that's
really
big
cool.
news. So these were news. Right, that's how people got their news. They
Yep.
have a news program before the main feature film, and it'll
Yep.
be in. I don't know if that's got a soundtrack on it.
Yeah, well, 1943, it's a 50-50 shot. Oh, wait, you know how to
can
find,
see.
you know how to find out.
Yeah,
right.
you unroll a bit and see if you can see
Yeah.
the sound on it.
So I will let you do that while we look at what your wife opened.
Mine's
Since
really
you're okay.
fascinating, bookkeeping.
The bookkeeping book.
From the 1940s, except it's a
Yay.
facsimile from 1986, but I was facsimile from the 40s, so exciting.
That
Double
is very
bookkeeping.
cool. Well, that's actually going to be a star of my show because
Yeah.
that's going to be over there by the
Yeah, it
Edison
will,
record.
it will.
So
I
everyone will
ended
know
up-
what you opened. Because the Edison records were originally called records because they were meant to be a documentation like this. They were supposed to be for businesses, but instead music took off. He was not expecting Lady Gaga, as I mentioned, because that's his Lady Gaga look, very serious. So that's why I want to keep a record next to my record, so people know where the word
So
record
what
comes
we've
from.
got is the leader,
So
which
that's
is
the
this bit
star,
which
like
counts down to three,
Ah.
and then you don't
That
have the
looks
2 and
like
the 1 and
sound.
0,
Am
and
I right?
then
Because there's no holes.
and then if you look on this side,
I'm trying to read the.
it'll be in mirror.
Yeah.
Um,
Only
John, I have a loop. It'll be backwards. You've got to hold the film, as I recall,
Yeah, that
this
way,
way.
right, yeah.
Right.
You can see. You should focus with it right against it.
Yeah.
only exhibition private or for private exhibition only.
Don't read that. Now you've ruined everything. Now we have to adhere to the rule.
So I think this might have a soundtrack on one side.
Oh, clearly.
So it's got no sprockets on one side, so it should have
Yeah.
soundtrack. I
So
don't
back
want to unroll so much of it, but that's
So originally film had holes on both sides to hold it sturdy, but when they decided to put sound on film, someone realized if we take the holes off of one side, we could put the soundtrack there. And that would be optical sound for this. You might have used magnet. What does BBC use? Magnetic?
by the time I was busy, we had a separate mag track. Yeah.
Magnetic, but magnetic sound.
Yeah.
So this would have had optical sound, which is actually, you could see a wave. So there were two light bulbs on your projector. One light bulb read the picture. The other light bulb read the sound. It was called the exciter light bulb. You'll see it on my Kodaks. I'll show you it. It's on the side of the projector reading that sound-tracked optical sound. 8mm American film had magnetic sound, but 16 almost always used optical, except Scopitones. Do you know the Scopitone company?
Mm.
So Scopitones were this French company that produced these jukeboxes, actual 16mm film jukeboxes that you put a quarter in. It was 25 cents and it played a 16mm film, usually a 100-foot film, which was about.
So something you might want to buy on eBay for your museum.
I have over 100.
is there's a device that synchronizes the magnetic track with the film, right?
Is that
Called a
this?
No, that's a sort of mechanical device that synchronizes the two.
You lost a bit.
That's the mechanical thing that synchronizes them. But when you're transmitting these things, you've got to keep them in synchrony. And there's this device called Celsyn, SELSYN, which has got big dials and things on it. It's very visual. And there used to be this mode that it could get into, which was called Celsyn Runaway, where there'd be a kind of positive feedback in a way that it would, the thing would sense itself and try and go faster and faster and faster, and the thing would literally catch fire. And it was very exciting, yeah. There'd been a case of
Not to the guy who bought the film.
Celsyn Runaway. And then the other thing that was kind of exciting was that we used to get these cans of film that was, I don't know whether you can actually buy it in the post, you probably can't, but called nitrate stock film. And we could only play it once. So it would go through the machine and it would catch fire as it went through the machine. And so if you didn't record it that time, then that was it, lost. And it was literally crumbling, and you had to have a fire officer there, and we were in a room about this size, but with all covered in metal cladding everywhere. And every time you play, every session, it would catch fire.
Really?
Yeah, it was really
Because I know
exciting.
that people have nitrate films, and
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't
it's
know they catch
spontaneously
fire every
combust
time.
because it's the same as nitrocellulose.
Yeah.
It's you know, what they use for explosives. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you're not allowed to even have like nitrate
Yeah,
film
no,
anymore.
exactly.
Yeah. You know, that's one of those things. It's like, oh my God, nitrate film. But I never met anyone that actually used nitrate film.
Yeah.
But
You
I
had to
know
have
that they
special
were able
nitrate
to
film
use it,
cores.
and
Yeah.
it wouldn't catch fire every time. I thought you could use it over and over again.
I think it's because we were, you know, because we were recording it onto something, you had to still have a special light through it.
And that
I
burned it.
think
Yeah,
it-
nitrates
yeah.
would ignite. So that,
Yeah.
that light probably did that. That's fascinating.
We give this
Oh, you
little
have to
thingy back
email
to you.
me the name of that, because I'll
Yeah,
get brain dead at the
yeah,
end of this.
yeah.
He's like, what did he say? So email me that and say, you have to get one of these. And that's, you were asking how I get items. There's literally, like I said, thousands of people on email, and they'll often know that I teach, and they'll say, you should get one of these. And then I'll develop a whole show around it and try to sell, tell it in a P.T. Barnum kind of way, which is
Yeah.
fun.
I'm
But
particularly
actually,
pleased with the solar space phone
Oh, I'll
and
show you
the
that.
song, LP of Israeli folk songs.
That is from my childhood. That's my brother's record. That is Eretz
Songs from Brazil.
Eretz Tropit Yafa Shirim.
Tropical songs.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these are all the
Does
famous
it- I can't
artists like David Broza, who I filmed many times, and all those people doing all these songs in Hebrew that were samba songs. It's a really classic. And the solar space phone, I will show you. That is a earth-shattering piece.
It's got such a great illustration.
Was it? So the solar space phone is from around early 1960s. It really did work. Basically, you would talk into there, he would talk into that, and it would convert his voice using solar power into energy, solar power, and that would go across to her, and then she would have a converter, it would
Yeah.
retranslate back into voice, and then she could listen to it. So the
So
sun's raising that.
question,
Now-
did this just work with basically a mirror? That was
And that
just
had
sort
a
of
mirror
wobbling a
that
little
was,
bit?
yeah, that was, a mirror that was right,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, you notice this is the early 1960s, so he can only talk and she can only listen.
Ah.
You gotta love that, as seen on Newsweek, of course. Now, if you think the box is cool, wait till you see the actual solar space phone.
It's come down boxing.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That is very cool.
So we're going to, since you're married, we're gonna change the game on you. You can only listen and she can only talk. There you go.
Do we need
And
some
then
sort
you're
of
gonna talk into that, and then talk into that. and say
Lord,
hello
Is
to
it
your-
okay that that's?
Yeah,
busted
somebody
like that?
poked it, unfortunately. I've got a few of them.
Can you hear
Can
that?
you hear her?
This is terrible.
She's sitting right next to you.
This is really stupid.
It's even dumber than that, because think about it. You have to have first of all, we don't have the sun here.
Exactly.
Second of all, if this has to be within eyesight of that,
Then you can
then
hear
you
them
could
anyway.
just talk to each other.
It's just-
Yeah.
You know what it
it's-
reminds me of? It reminds
it's
me of
so-
those, it reminds me of those ads at the back of a card of the like Archie comics, like comic
Yeah.
books, where it'd sort of be like X-ray vision. You can see them. They show like, some very buxom woman and some guy looking with these X-ray spectacles that you can
Specs,
see
yes.
through
I
the
have those X-ray
clothes.
specs.
It's
I added that to the museum because I
To
told
be
you
fair,
we do
the-
a medical show.
The mirror is busted, so maybe if you, I mean, I still don't believe that it would work, but you know. could-
It did. I actually have the instructions, and apparently it did work. But like I said, you have to be within eyeshot of the person. so
Oh,
you
mate,
can
come on. The idea
talk
that
to
Boys,
the idea
it's
that light would,
scientific with an exclamation mark.
just-
the idea that light could vibrate this enough to hear is,
That's very,
it's an idea.
Yeah,
very funny.
there's the instructions, I believe, right there. The solar space phone instructions.
And the stethoscope. Yes, lovely. That's
Very good.
It's worth it for the illustration though.
I got 4 of them because it's just so ridiculous. How could I not get more? Like, it became a star of the show. I keep 2 of them here and 2 of them in my Space in Queens. Whenever we do a show that has to do with space or anything, my sister even worked at NASA at one point. So we do a lot of shows that are space shows. and I have a whole bunch of 16mm films that are from NASA. But that's one of my favorite items in the museum. I originally saw it from an auction house guy from Coney Island.
I think the cover is the best bit.
I
Yeah.
know, I
It's-
love that cover. That's just too dumb not to own. As seen on Newsweek too, makes it even easier.
So
As
when
seen
you
on TV.
when you ordered that film off eBay or wherever you got it, did you
Sometime.
know what was going to be on it?
Yeah, I literally last night I picked up about 4 more films from friends of mine who email me and they'll say, "I've got this list, Denny, what do you want?"
Well, that was a big moment in the war. The sinking of the Scharnhorst. That was a big thing. Everyone
Was it?
learns about it in some history or
In school over there, yeah, because here we
very,
don't.
very well known. Yeah.
Yeah, so why is it well known? What is the? what is the
Well, on
significance of it?
camera, yeah.
You might as well teach everyone.
A big German battleship, lost lots and lots of life, torpedoed by the British.
Wow.
Was it a turning point in the war at all? You think?
Don't know about a turning point, but it was a very important kind of propaganda, moment. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Yeah, I just got the film, so I haven't actually seen it yet. So it's we're gonna I guess show it for our. We have a show called Duck and Cover, so I guess this one will be for that show.
Yeah.
Because this will probably be one of the stars of our show
Yeah.
when we do when we do that one. That's cool, and that's my show.
All right. Thank you.
I'm gonna say bye to the world. Bye, world.
Bye. Thank you.